Hello, welcome to Weekend Investing Daily Bites. Today is June 15th. This is the 31st episode of this series. We do this every weekday and try to bring a topic for discussion that can give some learnings and share some experience of the past and of the present with newer uh, users, and also update on the markets. Uh, in terms of the market, the Nifty opened gap up today and remained strong for most part of the day. As you can see, most of the broader indices also followed suit, and there was nothing exceptional in terms of activity like it happened yesterday. Yesterday was totally uh, the activity was centered around one group of shares. Today it was very benign in that respect. Within the sectors, pharma was a bit down, but FMCG, banks and consumption sector, Asian Paints, etc. Then within banks, ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, and some FMCG stocks also were moving up. Other than that, most of the sectors were muted. Media and reality were also doing all right. In the weekend investing small cases, again MIST, ATH, NNF 10, MIMT, all cap, they all have some exposure to Adani stocks, and there is some pressure, downward pressure on those stocks still, but no real major concern about it as of now. MI25 and MI30 were also doing all right. MILT, CNX 200, it's a very slow moving long term large cap portfolio that we have, that we don't discuss too many times. It has a low CAGR and it's a very low churn, so it is really meant for extremely low risk profile type of users who are happy with lower returns, and that's how that particular small case is designed. So this was one tweet that I did today, that we should save money by buying things which are on sale, right? We love sale in terms of our purchase decisions, and we love to get to a sale, but in the stocks that may or may not work. I mean, if you are approaching stocks with a value framework, then yes, it can work, but with the momentum framework, cheap is not good, cheap is bad. Cheap in the sense prices falling down. I am not talking about valuations. Prices falling down for a momentum investor is a clear sign that he should not be there. The whole thesis of momentum investing is that the momentum in the stock is giving you the indication or the catalyst to start looking at it and to get into it. If it is going the other way, that itself is telling you that this is not going to be in your watch list also, or this may not be picked up by your algorithm also. So do not confuse between buying things for your consumption on sale and sale in the stock market in terms of prices. Sometimes buying stocks, penny stocks or low value stocks can create a bountiful gain or a windfall gain, but that is more by luck than by design. A common mistake that we make here is that a stock is trading very cheap, 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 20 rupees, so it can't go to zero. That kind of a overconfidence many people may be having. Is the stock is 5 rupees now, where can it go? If stock is 10 rupees now, where can it go? So these stocks can go to zero actually. So if you're investing in a stock at 100 or if you're investing in the stock at 5, you are risking your entire capital in both places. If you are investing at 5 rupees, does not mean you are risking less. Your allocation may be less. I mean, in a portfolio of 10 lakh rupees, you may allocate 10,000 rupees to such penny stocks. That is a different matter. But on a stock to stock comparison basis, an allocation to a 5 rupee stock, if it is equal to an allocation to a 200 rupee stock, the risk of losing that much amount is the same in both. So like I said in the slide, a friend invested 1 lakh in DHFL when it was 40, and I'm investing 1 lakh in DHFL when it is at 15. So my loss is lesser. I mean, that's a very sort of lunatic way of looking at it. The first one, of course, is a killer, where you are saying, it's trading at 5 and it definitely can't go to 0. The more the stock is near 0, I think there is more propensity of it to go to 0. I mean, why will a stock come from 600 to 5 rupees in the first place? Right? So, and of course, the common mistake of buying stocks, because there's a lot of tips which are going around, and those tips somehow are always for cheap penny stocks, because that is the mentality of people who don't understand the market, who are away from the market, but when they see a Yes Bank at 14 rupees or something else, or a Videocon at 7 rupees, they think there's enormous value that can be unlocked. In some cases, yes, it may happen, but more often than not, that will not happen. There is some study, and I am forgetting who did this, that any stock which has dropped 80-90% from its highs, there is a very low probability of it ever going back. Yes, there are exceptions to every case, right? Amazon probably dropped 80-90% and went back. So that is a classical example, or Apple probably did that. But more often than not, a stock which drops 80-90% will not go back and will probably go more towards 0. So what happens when stocks or companies are unable to remain viable? The creditors drag them to the insolvency procedure. So the creditor will take the case to the NCLT and file an insolvency case. And what happens there is that the creditors, the secured creditors, who have charge with, plant and machinery or land, they have the first charge. And below that comes the unsecured creditors and, operational creditors, and then shareholders. So this is the hierarchy in which, when a company is getting liquidated or when a company is getting restructured through the IBC process, this is the hierarchy in which the amount, or you can say the liquidation amount, or the residual value, or the restructuring value will get distributed in priority. So first, secured creditors will have to be satisfied, then unsecured, then operational creditors, and then shareholders. So shareholders are at the last end of this, pyramid. And what happens usually, like in Videocon's case also, I think some 70,000-80,000 crores of secured creditor claim is there, of which 55 or 60,000 was admitted, and they are going to get a 95% haircut on that. So maybe a couple of thousand crores will be distributed amongst all the creditors, and then below that some secured creditors, some operational creditors, very minor amounts, and then nothing for the shareholder. So when you have a company which is going into liquidation or IBC restructuring, as a shareholder, there is no chance of you getting anything. Or even if you get, the dilution will be so high, that your 10% or 20% minority stake will ultimately become less than 1%, because the new entity who comes in will pump in money and do a preferential, and dilute the equity to themselves. They will not give you that preferential allotment. So this is what has been happening in the last few cases. Videocon recently, and the IBC has announced, the restructuring process has gone through, and Mr. Anil Agarwal's companies have won this resolution, and they are going to take over this company. Now, all Videocon shareholders are going to get nothing, and these shares are going to get delisted. Yet, these shares are up 70% in a month. So, I don't know what's happening in terms of, either people are not realizing what is happening, or they don't want to read about it, or somebody is misguiding them, or there is just some sort of a lottery, sort of a wild investment. We'll see if something comes out. Nothing will come out. These stocks will get delisted and they will go to zero. Finished. So if you see here in this chart, I'm sorry it's not so clear, but the stock has gone from 1 rupee to 7 rupees, something like that, over this last 1 year, and especially after these announcements started to come, it was hitting circuit breakers. Only today it has, I think, come down after a lot of public hue and cry was made by very influential people that don't invest in this stock, and some lucky blokes have been able to exit here, and this is really free money for whoever has been able to exit today. It is a stroke of luck that those sellers were able to find buyers. And the same happened in DHFL a few days back. There were upper circuits here, 1, 2, 3 upper circuits here, going up to almost 24-25 rupees. And a huge volume on that day, I think somewhere close to like 1.4 crores or something like that. So 40 crores of worth of roughly shares changed hands. So somebody is losing 40 crores and somebody actually was able to take out 40 crores if everything went to delivery. So this is the kind of misinformation that is out there, or maybe just a lethargy to even know what you're doing in terms of what stocks you're buying, and just blindly buying on tips, etc. So please don't do this. Do not buy stocks which are going into restructuring without fully knowing what is happening and what will be the outcome of that restructuring process. This is the lottery will not work for you for most of the time, but if you're treating it like a lottery, then maybe you are already assigning your capital to go to zero in most of the cases. But if you are allocating capital here in hope that this will grow and this will revive and you will be a part of the new entity, then I'm sorry, you are making a very big mistake. So please take care and spend some time in researching what you're buying and why you're buying it. So this is just the small point that I wanted to make today. I wish you great investing and happy learning in your investing life. And this daily bite is just a small media to share some thoughts with you. If you like it, please send me your comments and let me know what else I should talk about. So have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.